Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
A Valley City mom says she's furious after her daughter was beat up at school, making her even more upset. The whole situation was caught on camera, and no one was willing to step in and stop it.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. The mom contacted our whistleblower hotline saying this aggressive incident lasted nearly a minute during lunchtime. She says there were no supervisors or teachers to stop it.
Valley News Team's Ivana Simic traveled to Valley City, where she sat down with the mom in an exclusive interview, and tells us what kind of changes she wants the school to make regarding bullying.
Enough after her daughter was assaulted in school, and it was all caught on video.
I was pretty irritated that nothing else was going to happen. Like, my daughter shouldn't fear going to school. She should have a safe environment.
Earl says the girl who recorded the video was expelled, while the girl who assaulted her daughter was suspended for 8 days, something she says isn't fair.
For a parent to see your child get assaulted for a minute, the school system failed. I mean, you're in the middle of lunch. There should have been some kind of supervision. You can't tell me that with these 50 kids making noise around in this video, somebody didn't hear.
I reached out to the superintendent of Valley City Public Schools, and I did not get a call back. But on previous matters, when I spoke with school officials regarding bullying, they say they take any bullying situation very seriously.
You just keep failing these kids over and over. That's not the only incidents that happened this year. I mean, there's other ones I've heard about.
Earl took her daughter out of school and tried to enroll her in a different school, but she says the principal at Valley City stopped that process.
Found out that the principal from Valley had contacted this school and told them all about my daughter's personal life, how she's on probation, the incident that happened at school, made her sound like she's a horrible kid.
She says the school needs to enforce the bullying policy more, since students keep getting hurt.
She's not one to go start something, because then I'd be on their side. Like, you can't go starting something, but defending yourself, you have to stand up for yourself before that happens.
In Valley City, Ivana Simic, Valley News Live.
Earls adds that she's not pressing charges against the student who beat up her daughter because the school already did. This story came to us on our whistleblower hotline. If you need help uncovering fraud or corruption in your community, call this number, 701-237-6576. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it.
Your vote will decide if North Dakota state legislators and educators will gain access to about $600 million in one of the state's savings accounts. It's one of 5 measures on the ballot. A yes vote gives access to that account to be used for education, and a no vote continues to allow the savings account to be used only when the governor makes budget cuts across the board. Opponents of the measure feel that our state will use the account as permanent funding, leaving no savings for the future. Proponents say they would only use it in times of need.
If you think for a second that the voters of North Dakota are going to let the legislature squander this money on something that's not related to K-12 education, that's a completely mistaken view.
Our concern, if it's spent, is it's a short-term solution that would result in potentially long-term consequences over the long run.
Money in the fund comes from taxes on oil extraction. We have broken down all of the North Dakota ballot measures for you. To learn more about the measures, visit valleynewslive.com.
There's a report of Halloween candy tampering out of Beltrami County. The sheriff's office there says a parent found a fun-size Almond Joy candy bar where packaging had been torn open with a silver sewing needle inserted into the candy. The parent reported the child was trick-or-treating at a Walmart in Bemidji and in the Arrowwood Circle neighborhood. Parents are encouraged to inspect any candy or treats that were collected and reported any suspicious items to their local law enforcement.
President Barack Obama says the administration was waiting on the Army Corps of Engineers to examine whether there were ways to reroute the Dakota Access Pipeline and would, quote, let it play out. And there was another escalation today as officers engaged in a standoff with protesters on the banks of the Cantapita Creek, around 40 miles south of Bismarck. This morning, law enforcement witnessed a group of protesters building a handmade wooden bridge across the creek. Officers ordered protesters repeatedly to get off the bridge and said if they crossed, they would be arrested. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers gave Morton County orders to remove the makeshift bridge and arrest protesters for criminal trespass. Officers used a boat to pull the bridge apart, but protesters continued to gain access by swimming and using other boats. Pepper spray and tear gas were used on a group of protesters who came across the water. The standoff ended shortly before 2 this afternoon when protesters retreated and returned to the main camp area. One person was arrested. A first for Fargo this weekend as it hosts Fargo Mania. It's a competition that allows special athletes a chance to compete and have fun.
Valley News Team's Natalie Parsons explains how the popular workout program CrossFit is getting them prepared.
It's crunch time for these athletes training for this upcoming weekend's Fargo Mania. They've been working their hardest for 6 weeks, gearing up for the adaptive competition for those 18 years and older. For Jackie Launch, she remembers all the progress she's made since day one.
I could hardly move. I had a hard time stretching and moving.
CrossFit Ice House in Fargo has teamed up with TNT Fitness and Community Living Services to train the athletes. They do full CrossFit-style workouts with things like squats, burpees, and sprints.
Tried to win hard, tried to win chase, and then maybe we would get a belt or a medal in there.
The routines they're told to do may seem tough at first, but with the help of their coaches, these athletes learn quickly that there's no limitations in their abilities.
We'll just tailor the same movements based on what they can do, based on where their ability is. We like to meet them at their level, and that helps them progress really quickly.
The room is full of positivity, cheers of encouragement when an athlete enters the room, before and after workouts, and in celebration of knowing there's nothing they can't do.
Sometimes these athletes we say they're just kind of sheltered from working out. They're sheltered from those things. Don't do this because you don't know what they can do. And we want to challenge that and show people what they can do.
And if you think for a second they're nervous for this weekend.
Nope, I'm not worried. Nope, I'm excited.
I can't wait.
We're going to win.
In Fargo, Natalie Parsons, Valley News Live.
Good luck to all the athletes. If you want to get involved with Fargo Mania, volunteers are still needed for the day of the event to help out and cheer on athletes. And for all the information, head over to our website at valleynewslive.com.
Approximately 70 students, faculty, and staff members at NDSU got a glimpse into how a family in poverty navigates life's issues. NDSU hosted a poverty simulation event. Participants grouped together to role play the lives of people who hover around the poverty line. Each family needed to provide food, shelter, and other basic necessities while interacting with various community resources.
It's so easy to look from the outside in and be like, oh, these individuals, they're not trying hard enough to get a job. They're just living off assistance. But really experiencing these scenarios that we were put through, it really opens my eyes.
The hope is that the simulation will help people view poverty from different angles and become motivated to be part of the solution to ending poverty in the United States.